Practicing gratitude is also connected with sexual intimacy. This is crazy. You're so crazy. Studies show sex is more satisfying in a marriage when gratitude is present. When we appreciate one another authentically, the risk and vulnerability lessens, and in turn, affirmation creates a safe place and a more tender connection.
So, Lisa, have I told you today how thankful I am for you? Does that work?
Not instantly, James.
Okay.
Hello, welcome to the Art of Espousing podcast. We're so thankful that you're taking time to listen to the show. There are so many things you could be doing or listening to. However, you are here looking for ways to invest in your married life.
Yeah, the reason we're doing this podcast is because we really believe that every marriage has the potential to be a masterpiece, displaying its unique God-designed purpose. And we personally know that a work of art doesn't just happen. It takes intentional work and crafting. Art can be defined as a skill in doing a specific thing. Typically, one acquires a skill through practice. So, our goal with every episode is to give you tools to practice to increase your skill around the art of marriage or the art of espousing.
When you talk about art, it makes me think of the phrase, it's a lost art. Basically, it's an art that requires a skill that many people don't do anymore. So a lost art would be like cursive writing. It is a skill, and it is a lost art. So, for example, our kids cannot read a card written by their grandparents.
It's pathetic.
It is sad. True story. So literally, they'll go, can you read this for me? Translate this cursive writing. Some basic survival skills is also a lost art.
That's right.
I could never be on a reality show because I cannot start a fire without a match, and sometimes not even with a match. And I wouldn't even know how to begin to find water if it's not just a pool of water right in front of me. Yeah.
So we would either die of starvation or some parasite because we couldn't light a fire and boil water.
Well, we probably live a long time because we have a lot of reserves.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about what we feel like is a lost art in marriage. That art is gratitude. Living in the mundane is where skill or the art is lost. And I personally find laziness sets in the mundane, and we just lose energy to be intentional. For our marriages to be thriving and to be a masterpiece, some of the basic skills like showing, expressing gratitude require intentional practice to not become a lost art in our marriage.
That's right. But before we go there, we want to make sure you know about the Marriage Reboot Retreat. Are you ready to take your marriage from the mundane to masterpiece level? Then the Marriage Reboot Retreat is for you.
Whether you're feeling stuck in a rut or you just want to reignite the fun and excitement you felt when you first met, we've got you covered. The Marriage Reboot Retreat by Married for a Purpose is all about helping you and your spouse reconnect, recharge, and re-engage with each other and your shared life purpose.
Over 2 full days, Lisa and I will work exclusively with you and your spouse to develop a holistic vision for your marriage and family, complete with a real action plan. By the end of the retreat, you'll be united in purpose and ready to take your relationship to the next level. Your reboot is then supported with regular coaching to help you achieve your vision.
So are you ready to take your marriage to a whole new level? Your Marriage Reboot Retreat is waiting for you. Want to know more? You can schedule a call with us using the link in the show notes or visiting our website at artespousing.com/marriage coaching. If you prefer, you can also direct message us on Instagram with the word CALL, CALL, and we'll be happy to send you a link. We can't wait to hear from you. I don't think anyone would argue that practicing gratitude is a powerful aspect in creating a healthy and strong marriage. Think about it. How do you feel when someone expresses gratitude for you? Like, I can think of a lot of thoughts. I feel loved. I feel appreciated.
Right.
I feel thought of. It's not shocking to know that studies show that expressing gratitude for your spouse strengthens your marriage. It's associated with increased long-term happiness in marriage. I know I'm happier, James, when you express your gratitude to me. It provides a healing effect when there are rifts in the relationship, and it makes way for reframing negative experiences in a more positive light, giving a more hopeful outlook for their marriage. The whole idea of reframing, it actually goes, you're a strong, assertive man who makes decisions. Sometimes it comes out hot, but I can reframe it and go, I actually leverage that, and there's strength in our marriage because you are an assertive man who makes decisions and pushes forward. So that's reframing. So giving thanks for, or thinking about what you're thankful for with your spouse, is one of the most significant practices you can build into your marriage. Gratitude is an essential ingredient in any relationship, but it takes intentionality and time. It really is a skill that we should put into practice. It's a standout when there is a lack of gratitude, or if there's a lack of recognition or a lack of acknowledgement with our spouse contribution to the relationship. When we do not practice it, it conveys feelings in the relationship that something's broken, maybe it's missing, or there's a sense that things are just not working or running as smoothly as they used to. All of those things do not make my heart feel good at all. So toxic relationships are even defined as relationships void of gratitude. It also reflects how we are received or perceived by our spouse. James, sometimes you and I will ask in a touch point or a weekly update, how is it to be on the other side of me? What does it look like to be on the other side of me? We may look ungrateful or unappreciative. Maybe feelings of being taken advantage of come from being on the other side of me. Or worse yet, maybe we are critical or negative. Regardless of what our intent is or isn't, the lack of gratitude impacts the relationship so significantly.
Yeah, the benefits are also really compelling. When you practice gratitude, it's more than just saying words. You're actually actively building into a strong, vibrant marriage. And the payoff? Gratitude is known to establish and strengthen the physical and emotional bond between the two of you. So you'll find increased love, fun, and forgiveness. Study after study confirms that individuals who consistently give thanks are more likely to experience positive emotions and satisfying interactions. And this principle actually doubles for a married couple.
Right.
When two people are committed to seeing and appreciating life's gifts together, then their perspectives change and expand, and anxiety tends to lessen, and shared enjoyment increases. And when a culture of gratitude is present, couples are quicker to extend forgiveness and to ask to be forgiven. I love what we heard Ruth Bell Graham once said, is that a happy marriage is the union of two good forgivers, and gratitude leads into the ability to forgive and to be forgiven.
That's so true. So practicing gratitude actually also deepens spiritual intimacy. A person who's bent toward gratitude receives more graciously, and a person who feels appreciated gives more confidently.
Right.
So this reciprocal thing is the mutuality of giving and receiving in marriage reflects the way God generously gives to his people. James, often marriage is used in the Bible as an example to show God's love. Whether it's God's love for Israel or Jesus' love for the church, their relationships are described as being very close to that between a husband and a wife. So when a couple's actions reflect the nature of God, a beautiful closeness occurs. I love that something as simple but not always easy to do can impact our spiritual intimacy in such a profound way. So if your marriage is lacking spiritual intimacy, this is a great place to initiate gratitude in your relationship. Practicing gratitude is also connected with sexual intimacy. This is crazy. You're so crazy. Studies show sex is more satisfying in a marriage when gratitude is present. Mutual thankfulness deepens a couple's emotional and spiritual intimacy, which inevitably fosters a more intense physical and sexual connection. How gratitude works in this way is pretty cool. When we appreciate one another authentically, the risk and vulnerability lessens, and in turn, affirmation creates a safe place and a more tender connection.
So, Lisa, have I told you today how thankful I am for you? Does that work?
Not instantly, James.
Okay. Well,
maybe later.
Okay. In all seriousness, practicing gratitude creates this mutual cycle of appreciation. It's a spiritual law that what we sow, we also reap. And when we sow gratitude, we will reap gratitude. It's just human nature that when a person feels appreciated, they're more likely to show appreciation to others. So practicing gratitude in marriage can have this snowball effect, because as one partner expresses thanks and affirmation, it naturally flows from the other as well. So by taking the lead, you can actually establish this underlying culture of gratitude in your marriage.
I love it. And all of our native Florida listeners, they don't know what a snowball effect
They've
is.
had to see the show or something, haven't they?
When a snowball starts down a hill, it just gathers more snow.
That's right.
That's right. So your gratitude gathers as you keep giving gratitude.
That's right.
So, James, I was recently describing to someone our style of teaching and approach to coaching married couples. Coaching is going from this place and moving to a greater place. So
Right.
you're here and you want to be there. So if we're going to coach in gratitude, we are the how-to kind of people. We love inspiration, but we quickly turn to application. So with that in mind, I would love to give our listeners a few practical ways to increase gratitude in marriage. So, coaching tip here, choose one area to practice and grow in that one area. If you try to apply all of them, you will inevitably apply none of them.
That's
so,
right.
the first one is going to be mind-blowing, but
Is it?
Yep. The first practical tip in increasing gratitude in your marriage is stop complaining.
Just stop it.
Just stop it. Or speaking negatively about your spouse, whether it's directly or indirectly. Complaining and negativity is actually just a nasty habit.
Yeah, it is.
Without intentionality, our human flesh takes over, and even the most optimistic person will drift toward negativity. James, you and I, as we were preparing for this, we recalled a couple we sat down with several years ago. We spent some time with them, and they both fell into this nasty habit.
Yeah.
Grown adults totally lost the art of gratitude, and for one solid hour, they spoke nothing but negativity toward one another. It didn't matter what kind of redirection we would try to give them or how we would turn the conversation back to how horrible each other were. Honestly, it was very sad. And the best next step for them, if they would have listened at all to us, would
Right.
have been
Stop it.
Stop it, stop complaining, and stop being negative. So if no words were even spoken, it would have been better than what they were speaking. So silence would have been best. It's kind of like what our parents used to say. If you don't have anything nice to say.
Yeah, don't say anything at all, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so the second thing we'd say is get back to the basics. You know, there's two things you can say that are basics to gratitude. One is please, and the other one's thank you. You know, saying please is a sign that you recognize your spouse's worth. It is a simple way of laying the foundation of respect in a relationship.
Do you know that where you place the word please matters?
No, do tell.
You shouldn't place it in the front or the end of a sentence. It goes in the middle. So it's the lost art in using the word please. So, for example, would you please pick up the laundry? Would you please unload the dishwasher? So you wouldn't say, please unload the dishwasher or unload the dishwasher, please. It's supposed to be placed in the middle.
Okay.
Just fun fact.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I have to start doing that. The second thing of basics is just being able to say thank you. And this can be as simple as saying thank you or I appreciate you. Saying thank you for things that your spouse does for you shows that you notice and appreciate their efforts. We would encourage you to be overthinkers. Go overboard to show appreciation for something nice. No matter how small or large the gesture, say it to each other whenever possible. Now, the obvious times that you could say thank you is when, you know, your spouse does a nice gesture, they give you a gift or something. Other times it could be, thank you for taking the garbage out last night. You know, I appreciate that. Or just small things that just acknowledging the effort of your spouse, right?
That's right. You know, you have been taking out the trash all of our married life. For 30 years, you've taken out the trash.
Right.
And it's just an agreed upon task. And I do try to tell you thank you for doing it because I really don't want to do it. So
Right.
thank you again. And today, I just surprised you with a text message and I said, thank you for loving me so well.
That's right.
That's right. I
So
did
you said
it.
thank you.
Yep. So, recap. Stop complaining.
Right.
Second.
Get back to the basics.
And the third is appreciate the win.
Yeah, I like this.
WIN, because my accent kind of throws people. James, I remember when you began willfully on your own to take initiative to clean up the kitchen just to lift a load because you knew that that meant something to me and it would be helpful. It wasn't just a task assigned to me because it was my woman's job. It's just
Right.
something that I actually really appreciate doing
You
because
love tidiness.
I do, and I like it a certain way.
Right.
But honestly, tidiness is just not that important to you.
Right. I don't see clutter, do I?
You don't see clutter, and if it's there, it actually doesn't bother
No.
you. And so I honestly wish I could feel a little bit more like that because I think I would be less encumbered in life if
Yeah.
I didn't see everything. So how you clean is not how I clean.
Right.
My eye still sees all the detail. When you go to help me out, I can actually walk into the kitchen and see every single spot that you didn't wipe up because I just see details. I remember having to make a mental shift that I'm just going to respond. Thank you, James, for thinking of this and acting on it because thoroughness was not the goal.
Right.
Thoroughness was not the win.
Right. I wasn't trying to be thorough.
No, You were being thoughtful.
Right.
So I was actually thanking you for your thoughtfulness, not your thoroughness, because that's the win. And I think we need to identify what the win is and speak to that and appreciate that.
Right. I love that. Yeah. Make sure that's the focus.
Yeah.
So a few more simple but impactful ways to express gratitude to one another would be to give compliments. Let your spouse know that you notice and appreciate their physical appearance.
Yeah. You look cute today.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or their talents and abilities. Compliments are a great way to make your spouse feel loved and valued. Another way is by making intentional small gestures. Small gestures like making their favorite cup of tea or coffee, leaving love notes or text messages to them, or maybe surprising with a small gift. All those things can make your spouse's day.
Yeah. Another simple way to demonstrate gratitude is to just simply show interest. You can show genuine interest in your spouse when you listen to them when they talk about their thoughts and feelings. This demonstrates that you care and that you value what they have to say.
Right.
And usually that involves not having your phone out, your eyes are in lock mode with each other. Another way is to make quality time. Spending quality time together is an excellent way to show appreciation. This could be as simple as going for a walk or cooking dinner together. Again, you and I talk about our minutes in the morning. Often that's a way that I feel very appreciated by you. The key is to be present and attentive during that time, during that quality time.
That's right. Choosing to show gratitude may not always be easy or something that we feel like doing. But what we encourage you to do is to simply go through the motions. There's a guy named Robert A. Emmons who's a gratitude researcher at the University of California.
That's amazing.
Yeah, who would even know there was such a role? What do you do for a living? I'm a gratitude researcher. That's pretty crazy. But he explains that the motion of gratitude can trigger the emotion of gratitude.
I love this. I think we kind of need to set here for a second because you're telling us to go through the motions even if we don't feel like it. So when we go through the motion, it creates emotion.
The physical act or the intentionality of going through the motions, can actually your emotions follow the direction where your emotions going, right?
Kind of makes me feel like there's momentum behind it. You're moving forward and there's a momentum that comes.
Yeah. So when you put a smile on your face, you say thank you, or you write a thank you note to your spouse, that can help flex those thankfulness muscles. And these actions actually help jumpstart more sincere feelings of gratitude. I love this quote. It's not joy that makes us grateful. It's gratitude that makes us joyful. And so when we practice gratitude, even though we don't feel like it, we can go through the motions and eventually our emotion, our feelings will follow our emotion. And just like any muscle, being thankful in your marriage is something that you can stretch and strengthen. Otherwise, gratitude can actually atrophy and weaken. When you don't exercise a muscle, it's going to shrink. We have a good friend who just recently broke a bone, and because he's not been able to use that muscle, those muscles have actually started atrophying, and you can see the difference between one leg and the other leg. And so it's the same thing with our gratitude. If we don't strengthen the muscle, then what's going to happen is it's going to atrophy and shrink. So if you want to get your marital thankfulness in shape, you got to try doing some of these tips and some of these tools that we've shared, and then you can come back and you can thank us later.
That's right. Yeah. This made me think of one of the seasons with our kids when one of our children was a teenager. We had a hard time seeing a lot of positive in that particular child. And I would imagine there are some listeners that are listening to our voices right now that are having a hard time seeing maybe some positive things. Maybe there's a lot of negative things going on. And I remember what our counselor told us back then is you may have to get a microscope, but get it.
Right.
And speak life over the things that are true. Don't make up stuff, but really look at the things that you're grateful for because they are there. We know this, that gratitude takes time and effort to cultivate, but the benefits to your relationship are worth it. By focusing on the positive aspects of your relationship and expressing appreciation to your partner, you can increase feelings of gratitude and can create a stronger, more fulfilling marriage. As we wrap up this topic on gratitude, we want you to know how thankful we are for you for listening today.
That's right.
If you have any questions or comments about what you've heard today, we'd love to connect and hear from you. Email us at hello@artistvowsing.com. And of course, you can also message us on Instagram at artistvowsing.
Yeah, if you found the show helpful, we'd love it if you would share it with your friends and family. I think we can all agree that the world needs more grateful people, right?
I do agree.
Yeah. So next week, we're going to be talking about commitment, and we're going to be unpacking 3 specific dimensions of commitment. We hope you'll join us for that. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next time on the Artist Espousing Podcast. Until then, bye-bye.